Welcome back to Hooks in MMA. We're on episode 50-something. Couldn't tell you which one it is, but we're in the 50s and we're rolling. And we got a big pay-per-view coming up this weekend. We're going to have Easy Lines. Mr. Ben Zeman talk about that in a few minutes. Give us a great intro. But I would love to introduce somebody that answered this past week to chat with us, and she's fighting on the main card this weekend against Angela Hill, and it's Tecia Torres. That's our interview guest this week. She's not too bad to look at, and she is on a 2-fight win streak, and looking to make it 3 here against a game opponent that she actually beat 6 years ago. But they've both gone separate paths and built on their careers in different ways. So it'll be interesting to see 6 years later how this matchup kind of ends up. But yeah, Tecia Torres on Hooks in MMA interview this week, so make sure you tune into that, and we'll jump over to some betting tips and betting lines here, Mr. Zeman.
Yeah, well, thanks, Tecia, as well for being on this week, and Zone for interviewing. That's a great guest. And before we jump into the easy lines here, if you have made it this far for the video, please click the like button. That helps the channel out a lot. It takes 1 second out of your time, and for the algorithm and everything, guys, please help with the channel. Click that like button for us now. So jumping into the easy lines though, this weekend, obviously we have a huge pay-per-view main event. We have the interim heavyweight championship with Ciryl Gane taking on Derek Lewis. Gane, a huge favorite at -350, Lewis a +275. Gane, has a very fast rise in the UFC, as we all know. He's currently undefeated in his career, 6-0 in the UFC, with the most recent wins over Volkov, Rosenstrike, and Junior Dos Santos. He's proven to be very fast, technically sound heavyweight who really gets caught out of position. His last fight against Volkov really proved he can swing with the big boys here in the top 5 and keep himself out of danger. Lewis' approach is the exact opposite to Gane, right? And instead of fast technical boxing, Lewis is a power puncher. We all know that. That's the only way I see Lewis really winning this fight, is similar to that of his wins over Volkov himself, or most recently Curtis Blades as well. He was losing those fights, not badly, but he was getting outstruck. And the Volkov fight, he was kind of starting to lose badly by the 3rd round. But his power is unmatched here in heavyweight. And other than Nagano, let's say, right? But even that's pretty close. So he was able to obviously get those people that, like Volkov and Blades, he was able to finish them, right? I do believe Gane will be able to use his amazing footwork and speed to avoid these big shots, but there's always that chance, right? This is a 5-round fight. Gane is really not really a finisher either. At least not against the top 10 guys, not recently, right? So he more has to, at this point, he really kind of has to more wear these guys down. As opposed to he was finishing lower level guys, right? But you always hear about Lewis's power, obviously, but his hand speed and accuracy is actually very underrated, in my opinion. So there is a reason why he's getting these KOs, and it's not just all power, right? So to summarize, grappling advantage Gane, striking Gane, conditioning Gane, fight IQ Ciryl Gane. So with that, I'm going to go with Derek Lewis by 3rd round KO. No, I'm just joking. So what we're going to do here is just kidding. So I don't really see a lot of value by Gane money line at -350, right? It shouldn't be that high, in my opinion. If you do have a gut feeling on Lewis, +375 by finish, I can't harp on someone if they want to take that. I won't say no, but I personally probably won't be on it. But I might have a little smidgen, but not very much there, right, guys? There is a little value. Gane by decision though, +187. I think that is probably what there's some real value. What I'll be mainly on in terms of the winner. What I do like even more though than both of those is the over in this fight, over 2.5, which is -150. I think I will look to parlay with some things that we're going to speak of later. If you really want a big value reach here and pick and Gane 4th round finish, looks juicy at +1400. Again, like that goes with my over pick, but who the fuck knows? You can never know with Derek Lewis, but I'm going with them being able to or like Gane at least being able to avoid those big power shots. But Zoni, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just quickly, I love pretty much everything you said there. My favorite thing with mixed martial arts is, and I know you're starting to like this too, where you kind of see these guys in smaller promotions and see where they come from, and eventually how big they can make themselves and how successful they can be. I remember mentioning Gane at the start of our podcast here. I saw him when he was 2-0 in TKO, 2-0, and this guy looked like he was in another world. Like he didn't belong in these smaller promotions. I'm like, this guy's going to be something special. Did I think a year and a half later he'd be fighting for the interim title? I don't know about that, but I definitely knew he'd be a contender. So this is fantastic. Like I'm really excited for him. It's hard not to like Derek Lewis too. I love your over pick. Mostly even the 4th round finish could happen. I was wondering if you had the straight up finish for Gane.
Oh, like the number. Well, the number for it is plus 105.
Well, it's plus 105. So
yeah.
So I mean, value wise, I mean, I personally like that. He has had a few decisions against the top 10, like you're saying. Like he finished a couple of the fighters. I think
earlier,
either I think after Tanner Boser.
Exactly. Well, he finished JDS. Yeah,
JDS, and he finished someone else. I think it was by heel hook.
Yeah, that was before Boser, but yeah, you're right.
Boser,
absolutely. Yeah.
So he can finish at that level, but he hasn't shown in top 10. But I got a weird feeling because with his length and his kicks, I have a feeling he might end up working the body here on Lewis. And I think he might get a hold of the liver or just a few body shots that could maybe, because you're not going to knock Derek Lewis out cold. It's very, very unlikely. But I think he might finish him like by body strikes. So I'm gonna say I like that plus 105, but I love your over, and I do think Gane wins. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no, I like that. So for our listeners there, I think the over or probably the finish you want to go with Gane there. I mean, I was saying decision earlier, but since we're not,
it could be.
Well, of course it could, right? But because we're kind of split on that a little bit, maybe that's a little harder one to take, but certainly, if you're feeling either one, take one.
And remember too, Lewis doesn't love fighting 5 rounds. There's a reason he didn't like having headlining fights and stuff to fight the fight. He doesn't like that. So I mean, if it does get to the 4th, like you said, that's some crazy value there. You might have sprinkled a little magic into my drink here.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Yeah, no, exactly. That plus 1400 looks a little juicy to me, because I could see it ending in the 2nd round, right? That's when it starts to get a little bit scary in that 2nd round. But the 1st round, I really just don't see this ending in the 1st round for some reason. I don't know why.
Gane could play the long game, like you said. He's had a few decisions. He can easily go 5 rounds. The guy's a fucking absolute machine, cardio wise. So maybe he wants to wear Lewis in the first 3 rounds, and he gets a 4th round finish. The lock of the week is that I'm now going to put money on the 4th round finish. Thank you for that.
There we go. Lock of the week plus 1400, baby. Let's go.
Not that it's going to come through that I'm going to put money on it.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. A lock that you're going to put money on.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. No, that's awesome. And then even because now that I'm thinking, like, if you guys really want to, parlay something big, over 1.5 is minus 275. So, I mean, you're going to have to really, juice that up with 1 or 2 other things. But if you agree with the over, but you don't love it at 2.5, maybe that 1.5 maybe suits your taste a little bit more. But yeah, here we'll jump into the co-main event. Let me bring up my notes here. Okay, great. So yeah, the co-main event, outstanding bantamweight matchup between Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz. Jose is a slight favorite, coming at minus 125. Actually, let's just make sure that's up to date, because it has been changing. So he's still at a minus 125 right now. Pedro's a plus 100. Jose coming off a decision win over a surging Marlon Vera. He started his bantamweight career with 2 losses. That was to Marlon Moraes, though, and Peter Yan. A lot of people thought Jose won that fight against Moraes as well. Close decision. Certainly we can forgive a loss to Yan at this point, as he's an absolute savage at this weight class. So, but Pedro, he's coming off a fight of the night performance against Jimmy Rivera in February. In my opinion, a top 5 fight of the year thus far, actually. They were both completely swinging. That's one thing you can say about Pedro, is that he's got one hell of a chin.
Yeah.
Jimmy was landing on him hard, but Pedro was countering well. I watched that fight. I watched the highlights more. But I don't. That was a close decision by the judges. I don't even know for sure if Pedro should have won that exactly, but he certainly crushed them with his leg kicks. Right, like Jimmy could barely walk on that. Could barely stand on his legs at the end of the fight, or one of the legs at the end of the fight. So the odds makers have it pretty much a coin flip. So obviously it's a tough one to call a winner on. Aldo has a lot of years of wear and tear on him, but he's still Jose Aldo. He's big and strong for this 135 division. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage on Pedro as well. So he's going to be able to land, not easily. He's going to be able to land from the outside for sure. Pedro will have to get in close and land his big hooks that he has. What I'm really looking at closely in this fight is the over as well. The fight to go to decision, -175 has value on it. I'll look to kind of parlay. As I said, Pedro has one hell of a chin. I don't see Jose being finished inside 3 rounds either. 3 of Jose's last 4 fights have gone to decision. The only finish was against Jan. That was in the 5th round. Again, this is a 3-round fight, obviously. So when the line first came out, Jose was a bigger favorite at -140. Since then, enough money has come down on Pedro, driving the price down. Now, whose money is coming in? Well, I have to lean on it being more of the sharp money, because there aren't too many casuals betting on a co-main event on a Tuesday, 2 weeks before the fight. But so I am leaning Pedro a little bit here. But with that being said, the value is gone on him now, right? Now you're getting him at, you were getting him at +115 or +120 a couple days ago, basically. But now the sharps have kind of pushed that line away now. So if anything, I don't know, Jose decision +175. If you disagree with me on Pedro, Jose +175 decision, that looks like that could have some value on it. Or Pedro +240, if you agree with me, that's him by decision as well. So that looks, just as juicy, or obviously even more juicy. At the end of the day, Jose's performance against Vera, didn't impress me as much as Pedro's performance against Jimmy. But it's a complete guess and gut feel. But I do know Zone, the viewers will find out he's more on the Jose side of things. So why don't you give the listeners and the viewers, a fresh take and the other side of the coin of why Jose, could dominate this fight as well.
Yeah, so for me, a couple things. One, you'd never think of it, but Jose Aldo's actually younger than Pedro Munoz, which you wouldn't even think, because Aldo's been around for so long. Now it's only by 2 days, but he has way more ring time, and like you said, wear and tear. So he's been through tons of 5-round battles. Obviously being a co-main.
It hasn't shown yet, though, right?
No, it hasn't
really
quite shown.
Yet.
And we always talk about this, moving down a weight class when you get older, and that much time is kind of rare. There's very few guys that do that. Usually you go up in weight, but he actually looks really good at 135. The one thing that his coaches and Jose would better be like implementing this time is his leg kicks have gone away. He hasn't thrown as many leg kicks as he used to. Now, as a fan, and a podcaster here, it's easy for me to say that maybe he's got a lot of wear and tear on his legs, and maybe he can't throw them like he used to. But man, he had some of the best in the world at one time, and I'd love to see him bring those back, especially against Pedro, who's unlikely to wrestle with him. I'd love to see it. It would be a battle of the leg kicks based on Pedro's fight with Rivera. So I don't specifically love the line at -125 like it is, but in the end you got to kind of go with your gut. This is more of a gut feeling. I did like his last performance, and I do believe he still has a chance to get in that top 5 and potentially fight for the title. I really do. He's 34, and he does have a win behind his back at 135 here. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. What I do believe is it will be a decision. I don't think either gets finished, and I love both the lines that you said. Either Pedro at +240, which is obviously better, in terms of the value, or Jose, which I forget what it was, but it was plus
Plus 175.
175. So
Yeah.
because I'm on the Aldo, I will be putting some money probably in a parlay plus 175 decision for Aldo, but it really could go either way. Make sure you guys honestly pick a decision if you're going to go either way, because I really truly believe that that's the lock in itself.
Yeah, and just to let our listeners in on the inside thing here. I mean, obviously we have a hooks in little chat going, right? And earlier this week, I was speaking with Zone about this in regards to this fight, and told him I was kind of more leaning Pedro. He gave me more, or he said he was more leaning more Jose, so that made me kind of rethink things a little bit more. Took a look back at it, and definitely lightened my my lean on Pedro for sure after I took another closer look and heard some outside comments as well, right? So I think you got to go with your gut on that one. Whatever you're feeling at home, just do it. But I think do it by decision there is probably your best bet, which is of course why we're here. And then so in terms of the third fight, so this one I didn't have a chance to go into as quite as much, but I can give some kind of quick comments about it. And then I also going to give kind of my lock of the weekend and one of my favorite fighters coming up here. But we got Vicente Luque minus 125 taking on Michael Chiesa plus 100. Another pick'em fight, right, guys? This is an extremely tough fight to choose from. From what I just taking a look at their records, basically, first off, it's an absolutely stellar matchup. I mean, Luque has had 15 fights in the UFC. He's only lost 2. Those opponents were Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson, and Leon Edwards, right? So that proves why he's in the top 5 right now. Chiesa, he's won 7. He's a bit longer in the tooth, I would say. Maybe he's been kind of up and down in the rankings there within welterweight. But he's finally kind of broken that top 10, top 5 kind of barrier there. He's won 7 of his last 9 fights. Those 2 losses were against Kevin Lee and a 2018 Anthony Pettis. So, both clearly fighters at the top of their game. So, I think they both are bringing great skill, great skill sales in there. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, and both of those were at lightweight. So his last 4 wins are all at welterweight here. So he's 4-0.
Oh, true. I didn't even. Oh, yes. Oh, Chiesa, right? Yeah. So that's actually, yes, that's a big factor to take in here, right, guys? I didn't even really realize that at the moment there. So he's actually a 4-0 within welterweight. When people move up to weights like this later in their careers, it tends to work out, as we were already kind of talking about with Jose, which the opposite kind of happens with him. But Vicente Luque, he is one tough son of a gun, right? He has a crazy chin himself. He's very dangerous, right? He's been submitting people lately when really he's known for kind of his jab and things like that. So he's been really really active and really successful. In terms of the pick there, though, that I'm going to take here, it's again, it's another really tough one. I've been leaning on Chiesa. He was at a plus 110, 2 or 3 days ago. Now he's at a plus 100. So the value's gone away a little bit on him. But, I think if you want to take what I'm leaning on, what I can see for some weird reason is like a second round submission by Chiesa. If you want to take him plus 375 finish, or even him by finish second round plus 1200, that's what I'm going to be on personally. But those are obviously kind of long shots. But what are you thinking, Zone? Do you have any leanings there?
Yeah, this one's a little tough for me. Like I said, Chiesa 4-0 at welterweight there. Luque, after his Edwards loss, is 9-1. With his only loss to Thompson, who obviously was close to fighting for the belt. And 8 out of the 9 of those wins were by finish. I know Kron's, it's one of his favorite fighters. And I mean, we love him too. He's fantastic. The thing for me is Chiesa, as he's moved up and kind of throughout his career, he has been more of a grinder and a wrestler. He's going to try and get this against the cage, take him down, and like you said, probably try to submit him. Can I see that happening? I do. I can see that happening, but my pick is going to be Luque. I think if he just stops the takedowns on the feet, he's going to absolutely light up Chiesa. Chiesa, he's fluent on his feet and it's very steady, but the combinations aren't there, and he doesn't have knockout power, especially moving up welterweight. Anyone could land like a straight left right to the chin and knock him out, but I don't see that happening. I think Luque stops takedowns, and I think on the feet he lights him up, whether it's a decision or a finish, I don't know. But I can value and see what you're saying too. If Chiesa is going to win, it's going to be that grinded out and then a sub. But for me, I see Luque stuffing takedowns because he's fought against guys where he's done that before, and I just see him winning. I don't want to say very easily, but I just don't think Chiesa's got quite the arsenal.
It's a bad matchup in your opinion, right? It's a bad.
It is, unless Chiesa can get him down. If he gets him down and can keep him there, it's going to be Chiesa all day, 30-27, maybe even bigger. But I don't see that happening. So I personally like Luque.
Nice.
Sorry to go against you. But.
Go against these. No, I mean, no, it's good for the viewers, man. You get both sides of the story here, right? So that you can make a little bit of your decision yourself, but I mean, they call it gambling at the end of the day for a reason, right here, folks. So that's what makes it fun. But in terms of the next one I wanted to mention is one like kind of basically my lock of the week is Rafael Fiziev taking on Bobby Green. The unfortunate thing is that the prop bets are currently not out, so I couldn't really tell you exactly too many specifics on that. But I'm very high on Fiziev. I am at -3. He's -334 though. He's taking on Bobby Green, who's a +250, and Bobby Green he's a very tough customer. He's very game. He has kind of unique movement. So it's going to be tough for him. It really, really is. But Rafael trains with Peter Yan, or Petra Yan, I think is the way to say it. But so it's he's going to be ready. I think he's only getting better every time with MMA, right? He was more of a kickboxing guy before, right? He's getting better every day. He's one of my favorite prospects in the UFC. So I am biased here, but I'm going to be taking him. Again, it depends on what the odds look like, but him by finish, if it's, whatever's more value, I think him by finish or him by decision, I'll take one of those, or I'll look to lean probably there. But right now it's hard for me to choose exactly. But what do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, so Z, because that's your lock, I'm not going to give any betting advice. The only thing I would say is Bobby Green, right? He's kind of reinvented himself. He was at a point where he wasn't, very mentally focused. He was 1-5 in the UFC in a stretch and was ready to be released with another loss. He then won 3 in a row, all by decisions, but all really nice stand-up, great footwork, speed, right. Has his hands down, entices his opponents to come in where he can counter. He did lose to Thiago Moises, but Moises
Thiago's good.
Yeah, he looked very good, even though he lost. Everybody seems to be losing to Makachev, but that was a tough matchup for him. We'll forgive him for that.
No, you're right though. He Thiago is very good though.
He's very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of I really don't love the betting lines. I think Fiziev is, and like you said, the prop bets aren't out, so you can't really give the actual outcome that you think may happen. But I would definitely not be putting money on that -3, whatever it is.
Yeah, -334. That's too much, guys. You can't like, even though I'm telling you, like, I love it, which I honestly I will have a little bit, like, I'll have him in some parlays, but not my main ones, guys, because it's not giving you any value, and so it's not even worth it to put, like, there's no point of putting it in.
Yeah, well, just straight up anyways, I'll say that. I don't want to take away from your pick, but
exactly. I'm just saying money line, right? Money line, avoid it. Well, again, I'm gonna have 1 or 2 money lines, parlays, but the main thing is decision or by finish. Well, and I think decision. We're gonna go decision here.
The only thing I'd say is just Fiziev has fantastic leg kicks. I'm interested to see when I'm watching the fight how Bobby Green adjusts to this. I mean, he has some of the best footwork, and he's really fast, and he's very what's the word?
Elusive.
He's elusive. There you go. I love it. Very elusive.
Yeah.
And he'll have his hands down. And I don't think Fiziev will kind of play into the head games of Bobby Green, but there's a chance it could happen. And if it does, Bobby Green could beat him on the feet with his hands, and his hands only. He's not going to be. His kicks are nowhere near Fiziev's. So I don't love the betting line. If I, myself, I'll probably parlay maybe 2 or 3 fight parlay with Bobby Green on it. And that's only because of the value you're getting on the other side.
Yeah.
Should Fiziev win? He really should. He is one of the best prospects, and I couldn't agree more with you, Zeman. He's fantastic, and he's looked great and absolutely destroyed Moicano. But in terms of the actual,
but everyone knows it, right? Exactly. But everyone knows that, so that's why the line is ridiculous, right?
Yeah. So if I'm going to do anything, I'm probably just going the other way, only based on the value. If that ends up coming down a bit, then you're going to see, Fiziev be more of a choice. But
yeah,
he should win. He really should. He's fantastic.
So that's great. Yeah. So to kind of overcap at least those picks there. I mean, it looks like the Gane Lewis, really we're looking at the over there. Gane 4th round plus 1400. That's amazing value. Aldo and Munoz, we're looking at the over there again for everyone. Zone made some great points regarding to Aldo, him by decision plus 175. I think that looks great. Again, Munoz decision plus 240. If you like him, take that. Luque and Chiesa, we were split on terms of that winner as well. But it's a pick'em fight, so that makes sense. We're both kind of leaning, I think, a little bit more on the finish there. I think actually, from what I remember. So I think that's also another play there. And then Bobby Green, if you like the value, well, you should like the value if you're okay with taking a bigger chance in some of your parlays, or maybe you're really hot on him as well, even hotter than zone, then take that plus 250 or him by finish. Like I'm sure him by finish, who knows what that would be? That would probably be like plus 450 or plus 500 or something, right? So yeah, that's lovely value. So think about that as well. Yeah, anything else there to add, Zone? Any other picks you're thinking there?
Yeah, a couple quick ones. So one that I have that again, there's no prop bets, but we had him on the podcast a little while ago, and he's had a tough time getting a fight. But Johnny Munoz, he opens up the card. He's a minus 250. If it comes out, I'd really like to see what a finish is. I think this guy's motivated and ready to finish. He's fighting Jamie Simmons, who honestly, I think he's at the very, very low end of the UFC roster in terms of skill. At the very least, minus 250 is not a great value, but if you parlay it with something else, I think Munoz is a lock to win this weekend. Another one too, really struggled lately, but fought top competition. She's really due for a win. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, at one time fought for the championship, and again has fought some of the best in the division. And she's fighting Jessica Pena, who I believe is very, very inferior to her in terms of skill set. She's a minus 125. I really like her to get in the win column. And the last one is Song Yadong and Casey Kenny. That's a fantastic fight to kick off the main card. Casey's the favorite, and I know he's a grinder, and he looked pretty good against Dominic Cruz. But Song Yadong, I can't see him getting grinded up on and taken down. The guy's overall just a straight shooter and a overall like very equal skill set everywhere. I can't see him getting taken down, and I like the value at plus 100 just for money line. So again, just Johnny Munoz for sure, money line, if not by finish. And I really like Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm not sure what it would be for a decision, but I like her to just get in the win column again. And Song Yadong would be my my value one at plus 100.
Yeah, I love all those picks. They all make sense to me. And of course, I just before I forget, gotta mention like our girl Tecia Torres. We're taking her minus 138. Like, let's go. Let's take her. Plus, actually, no, well, plus 120 decision. That looks
That's
great to
juicy.
me. Yeah, that like even as a single bet there, put 2 or 3 units on that one. Again, if you agree with us, but uh you got to because she's been on the show, so you have to agree with
Single
us,
bet
right?
or
But
a single man or women, you're gonna definitely be choosing her.
yeah, exactly. Either way, it's you're taking her. So yeah, minus 138 or sorry, plus 120 decision. That's the play to go there. Yeah. Other than that, I think we're pretty much wrapped up here.
Yeah, I
Zoni,
was,
any
I was
other
just going to
guys?
say before we finish off here, just a
Yeah.
couple of fight announcements that maybe you've heard that you're looking forward to in the next few months here. Just anything that comes to mind that gets you excited.
Well, I mean, obviously, Gagey and Chandler's the main one that comes to mind. And just because I wanted to mention there, I saw in the headline, Chandler says if the New York State requires vaccination, then he's not fighting on November 6th. So that's going to be an interesting situation here. And moving forward, is what's they're going to do the vaccinations in different states. I personally think Dana White is going to, say F you to New York, and he's already kind of done that before. So to the commission in New York State. So I think if he has a lot of fighters or enough fighters, especially one of his headliners, saying he's going to refuse to fight if they enforce the vaccination, then he's just going to move it to Florida or Alabama or wherever else he can go, Houston. I think that's pretty interesting kind of headline and something I didn't necessarily quite think about moving forward here, but it's something that's going to come more into play. And I can just hear the Justin Gagey fans saying right now about Chandler, like, so you're saying you don't want to fight then? There's many ways to refuse a fight, I guess, Chandler, and like stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the fallout is here.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Just a couple that come to mind for myself. In a couple weeks, I think it's a main event, but Edson Barbosa and Giga Chikadze, I think both stand-up guys. I think that's going to be an absolute they're going to be both clinicians. It's going to be a clinical stand-up war.
Yeah.
In October, a nice fight that I like that they announced is Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern. That could potentially be a number one contender for the title shot, which be nice to see one of them get a shot. I think they could pose some issues. And I think there was one more I just wanted to mention, and that would be, well, obviously the rematch between Sterling and Jan. I mean, that the same card. I mean, nice to see Khamzat Chimaev come back too. He fights Li Jingliang. So those are just a couple, like, not ones where you're like, oh my God, it's John Jones and Ngannou, but these are ones that are going to be fantastic fights, and it's going to give a lot of clarity to each of those divisions on what's next. So.
And of course, we got Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. I mean, Diaz coming back is amazing. And then on that same card as well, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. Like, we got some really big boy fights coming up here, like Jan Blachowicz versus Teixeira. It's interesting, right? It's not crazy, not quite as big, but I mean, that's a great fight to watch as well. I can't wait. So I think there's a lot of things to be excited about here with the UFC and MMA in general kind of coming up here. A lot of great fights. And these divisions, they're coming out of COVID now. We're moving right along now. We got even Shashenkov is fighting like in September. So we got things moving along here, which is really nice to see with these divisions. Nothing's being too stopped up other than the heavyweight right now with Ngannou, but
against my girl Lauren Murphy.
Shashenkov, yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be a tough one, obviously. But Valentina, but she's shown some chinks in the armor, as they say, right? Like last couple fights. So She's going to be beaten at some point. When or by who is up to fate, I guess. So we're gonna find out, but she's looked dominant. But yeah, we got a lot of champions fighting here over the next couple of months, which is great to see.
Yeah, and it was too bad this weekend. I would have liked to see Pena fight Nunez. They obviously had to pull that. Nunez had COVID, so hopefully they rebook that because I think just the styles make for an interesting fight. Nunez should still crush her, but if Pena can grind her out and take her down, you never know. But yeah, great to chat to you again. And good to be back. Speaking about mixed martial arts and UFC, we got some other big stuff coming. I have to mention last weekend quickly, AJ McKee, the real deal, huge upset over Pitbull. Not only beat him, but beat him in the first round, finished him. One of the best 145ers in the world now. He's undefeated. He's fought every single fight in Bellator, and actually, I heard a story where when he was 13 years old, he ran into Dana White and said, I'm going to be a world champion one day, and you're going to have to buy me lunch. And they called Dana out on it this past week and said, so do you remember talking to him? And he's like, well, not really. He's like, well, you owe him lunch. He's like, all right, that's great. I'll get him lunch, and hopefully we can, once his contract's up, we can get him over and see if he can compete with our 145ers. So I would like to see him and Pitbull against some of those top guys. But Holloway.
I definitely think like he definitely could. And with Chandler moving over, I think it's great to see, even though Bellator, you lost Chandler, let's say, but it's actually making your product look better with him having success.
Yep.
But I also did see that, like, okay, last weekend's UFC was a pretty bad lineup, guys. I think we can all agree on that one, but it averaged like somewhere around 700 to 900,000 views during the card, and the main event was more like 900,000. The Bellator one during the main event, AJ McKee fighting, it averaged, I think it was 187,000. So below 200,000.
Wow,
so
that's
less
crazy.
than a quarter, right? And it should not be that way.
No way.
And it's because of the access that Bellator has, right? I don't know. If it plays on all weird different things, even in the only way to watch it here in Canada is on YouTube. But if you live in this place, you got to go to fucking BT Sport. If you live in this place, you got to go to Bear TV. If you live in this place, you got to go to TSN. It's all over the place with Bellator.
Show. So
I think they have to kind of figure that out. They really want to, because they're great fighters. It's great quality product, I think. They just got to figure out how to market it a little bit better.
Yeah, right? And also, why did they go away from their Friday night when they knew a UFC one was on? If they put it Friday night, I don't know. I don't get it sometimes, but either way, the Holloway Yair Rodriguez fight that just came to mind too. That's going to be fantastic.
And then Holloway fight. Thanks for reminding me as well, because that one I'm a little surprised that Holloway's always game to fight anyone, so I don't surprised that he accepted that. But it's in my opinion, after that performance against Cater, he was kind of ready to fight. Actually, that's the other thing. He's already fought Volkanovski twice, right? He's already fought Ortega, so I'm starting to understand that. And
it probably would have been him. Probably would have been Zabit, but looks like he might be hanging it up. So I guess Yair would be the next kind of guy that's at least exciting. It's going to make for an interesting stand-up crazy war. So,
because if Holloway does beat Yair, then and let's say Volkanovski wins, beats Ortega, which is a big if. But let's say it happens, then the third fight of that does make sense, then, right? But if Holloway hadn't beaten anyone and they just said, okay, fight again, then not as much sense, right? So I think I do like this, but Ortega, man, again, the way he looked against Korean Zombie, and the other thing too, I don't know if everyone remembers, but that was in Korea. So Ortega was going over there, or was it in Abu Dhabi? Was it actually? Maybe it was in Abu Dhabi actually. But either way. He came out and performed. He had a shaved head and he looked like a fucking serial killer.
Oh yeah.
And he put on quite the show. So
and you saw what Korean Zombie just did to Dan Ige. I mean, Ige's no joke either, and Ortega just destroyed Korean Zombie like a clinic.
So Volkanovski, he's got his hands full again. But I think he's up to the challenge. So
Yeah.
Before we get into easy, we gotta do some research before we get into easy lines for that one for
No
sure.
kidding.
But that's gonna be a hot one.
Yeah, so you guys remember, and when you're listening to this, remember Ben Zeman Easy Lines picks for this weekend. Get on them, put some money in your Bet365 accounts, and just be ready because it's going to be a fantastic card. It's got some great undercard fights, and we're happy and lucky to have spoken to Tecia Torres this week. Listen to that interview, and we're good to go. Hooks in MMA was back this week, took a couple weeks off, and we're ready to roll again. Enjoy the fights, guys, and I can't wait to hear next week on upping our percentage because we're very confident in this weekend. So thank you so much, and you guys enjoy the fights.
Yep, thanks guys. See you next week.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 12-5 strawweight. Huge fight on the main card this upcoming weekend against Angela Hill. Tecia, the Tiny Tornado Torres. How's it going today?
I'm good. Finished up camp and ready to head to Houston tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, as you were saying before there, you wish it was tomorrow. I can only imagine what that buildup is like. You're done camp and you're just ready to go. How do you kind of de-stress those last, few days before weigh-ins and the actual fight when all you want to do is get out there and have the cage door shut?
I mean, it's a lot of visualization, running the fight through my head over and over again, all the possible outcomes. A lot of sleeping. I do a lot of sleeping, catching up on sleep that I wish I would have gotten during camp. And just hanging out, being happy, living in the moment and enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah, awesome. So just, for some of the listeners out there, where did you grow up? What age kind of did you get into MMA? And then, it's been a long road since and you've been very successful. So just, where did you grow up and how did you get into MMA there?
Yeah, I grew up I was born in Fall River, Massachusetts. I initially went to a karate school because I actually just learned this story. I always thought I did it in Florida and my mom took me because she was a single mom and disciplined. And I talked to my dad recently. He's like, no. I guess when I was still in Massachusetts, my dad was going to a local karate school. And his friend was like the instructor. And I was like a daddy's girl, I guess. And I wanted to go. So I went. And then when my parents decided to split up, my mom promised me that she'd take me to karate. So I guess she kept that promise when we came to Florida, or now I'm in Colorado when we went to Florida. I got in karate when I was 5. I did that my entire years of growing up. When I was in college, I wanted to box, but I found Muay Thai. So I started fighting kickboxing and Muay Thai for about 4 years. And then I came across MMA. The person I was dating was doing it. And there was just more opportunities. So I started MMA when I was like 21. My first fight, I think I was 22. I apologize for the dogs in the background.
Oh, good.
And then it just took off from there, honestly. I had 20 amateur kickboxing MMA fights, 7 amateur MMA, and then I went pro with Invicta. I had a good run with them, went 4-0, and then one night Gane called me and said, hey, do you want to be on The Ultimate Fighter? And honestly, that phone call changed my life.
Absolutely, and it's been fantastic since the amateur career. You were undefeated in that, correct?
Yeah, I went 7-0. I had 7 fights in 10 months. And then Invicta called me one day. They're on like number 40 or something, but I fought at Invicta 3. So I was one of their, pioneers, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So you said 7 fights in 10 months? The amateur?
Yep. Yeah, MMA, amateur.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually had more than that because I did some kickboxing fights in that. So I was very, very active and I wanted to get as much experience as I could. And then when they called, it was a good time. And I felt I was ready to, try to make it professionally.
Absolutely. So I think I heard you said you're in Colorado. So that was my next question. What's the gym that you're training at and who are the coaches in your corner for the weekend?
So I don't train out of one large gym. My main gym is called Pound for Pound Fitness. It's a Muay Thai striking gym. Then I recently started going to 10th Planet Denver. My friend Heather and her boyfriend Connor Hewen own that. And then I go here and there depending on, where my partners are, but those are my main gyms. My coaches, one of my coaches, my wrestling coach, he just really coaches me and Raquel. He used to be the WCAP World Class Athlete Program in the Army, the head coach for them. He doesn't do that anymore. So he just coaches us. Then our striking coach is Justin Houghton. He owns Pound for Pound. And then my actual Jason, who usually comes, he can't make it. So I'm bringing Heather, my friend, and also she helps me at 10th Planet.
Awesome.
And then Raquel, of course, is my third coach. Quarter.
Yeah, for sure. So just, I've watched your fights for a long time, been a big MMA fight fan for a long time. Like, in terms of resumes, like your resume is like the strongest it could ever been. Like, not to get negative, but your losing streak that you have, and obviously I'm sure you reflected on that, and you do have a 2-fight win streak, and you're ready to go here to build it up. But like, the names that you fought, like, you never backed down from any major name. You're looking to fight the best always. So just speak to that. Like, a lot of people, they want to build up, a win streak against, lower competition. You're always fighting top 5, top 10, no matter what. So just speak to that mentality.
Well, yeah. I fought all the champions. I'm the only one in my division who's fought every single one of them. Unfortunately, I lost, but I mean, those are my losses. And when I did lose, they were decisions. It wasn't anything like I didn't get beat up or anything like that, mistakes I made, and I just wasn't there mentally. No excuses. They won. But given the opportunity to fight again, I think the outcome would be different. I'm more mature. I'm becoming more confident in my own self. In the past, I've fought too highly of my opponents. Yes, they're amazing, but I'm also amazing,
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, thank you. So I just feel like this next fight, I'll be able to continue to build this momentum. And then I really do want to show on Saturday that I deserve to fight someone in the top 5, and then eventually make my run for that title. I've been in this way too long in the UFC since the beginning of my division that, my title shot is coming.
I couldn't agree more. And I bring up the losses because, you never shy away from anyone. You're going to fight the best. So the last 2 fights that I've watched, that watch you win, like, I see like more of a killer Tecia Torres, like someone that's going in there and just absolutely tear apart their opponent. And your next opponent, you obviously fought her 6 years ago, and I just wanted to know your mentality. Obviously, you've both gone down different paths, both very successful in your own right, but a lot changes in 6 years, and whether it's relationships or life in general, right? So how would you approach, this next fight here against someone you've already beaten, but so many years beforehand?
Yeah, I beat her in the past, but to me, that weighs nothing on this fight. Every fight is different. Anything can happen in a fight. We both have evolved a lot since, when we first fought. But yeah, of course, I have that upper hand going, into the fight chair. I beat you before, but like I said, anything can happen. We both have evolved. But with that said, I honestly don't think she is going to be able to hang with me in there in any arena, striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, wherever the fight goes. I believe I'll be the better fighter.
Absolutely. Your pace is fantastic. So I expect nothing less on Saturday. So yes, you are fighting Angela Hill, and it's on the main card here this Saturday, UFC 265. Just speak to fighting on a big pay-per-view, for the listeners, for people that don't really understand, the magnitude of a big pay-per-view on the main card. I mean, you're going to showcase all your skills, but just speak to, kind of the build up to that. And do you even care about that, or you just go out and kind of take care of business?
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's cool. I'm on the main card. That's people sometimes don't even tune in until the main card, or don't even show up to a fight until the main card. I'm grateful to be a part of it, but honestly, I just want to get in there and fight. Like, I'm cool when I fight like 3rd or 4th on the card. I get it done and I'm ready to hang out and watch the rest of the fights. But of course, it's an honor to be a part of the main card. You know, we only have this short window, you know, of years where I'll be able to do this. So the best of the best is always great to have. So I'm fortunate enough to be, you know, a great athlete and have the opportunity to fight on the main card. So it's cool, and I like the main event. Big fan of Derek Lewis. He's a cool guy, and I look forward to watching him, you know, do his thing.
Yeah, there's some solid fights on the card, but I'm really looking forward to yours. So, just outside of training and fighting, what are some activities you like to do for fun? I mean, with Raquel as well. Like, is there some things that you enjoy doing, you know, together or out on the road, or just some stuff that makes you happy outside of training and fighting?
Traveling and hiking. Hiking's probably the number one thing we do a lot. We have quite a few animals, so we're always, Colorado's beautiful. I love it here. We're always in the mountains, going away for a weekend or whatnot, or even just a day. So hiking's our main thing, but anything. We have a boat. You know, we just bought a new camper. We look forward to using it after my fight. We just like being outdoors. I mean, personally for me, I like little hobbies. I like to make bracelets. I like reading. I like being with my friends. I'm very big crime junkie, so I love documentaries. Anything about serial killers, as weird as that might sound.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I like everything, normal stuff. I like eating. I like eating a lot of shit that I'm not supposed to eat. But yeah, mainly outdoor stuff. We were supposed to take our boat out this weekend. Unfortunately, it was like raining really bad.
Yeah.
And then it ended up not being a bad day. We should have taken it out, but just fun, exciting things, you know, the normal things.
Yeah, no, I love being out on a boat too and doing some fishing. Have you seen Fear Street on Netflix?
No, I have not. What's that about?
It's there's three separate movies, but they're all connected. Do you remember like, maybe I'm aging myself here, but like Goosebumps, R.L. Stein?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the creator and producer of it. It's three different movies. It's kind of like a horror type thing, and it goes from 1994 to 1978 to 16 something, and they're all connected. I suggested to watch it. It's pretty cool. I just saw the last couple of days here, and you said you like serial killers.
Is it actually scary or no?
Like a little bit. Like there's a lot of killing and serial killing, so maybe it's something you could check out. But it's pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, so our last segment here is called Between Rounds. I'm going to ask you a question. We'll rapid fire. You give me your best answer, okay?
Sure.
Favorite food during a fight camp?
Favorite food? I don't cut much weight at all, so I eat whatever I want. So my favorite food in general is Brazilian food. I love steaks.
And what about post-fight, just like a cheat meal?
Snacks. I love cookies, cake, ice cream. Normally after the fight, pizza is always involved.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite sport other than MMA?
I liked soccer growing up.
And just in the United States, it could be in Colorado, could be in Florida, wherever. What's a good spot to check out for someone that's maybe never seen it before?
In Colorado Springs is beautiful. We're right near the mountains, but I love Estes Park. I love Breckenridge. We just recently went to Telluride for our anniversary, and I loved Telluride. That was cool.
And you mentioned traveling. What's a favorite spot that you've traveled to?
Ooh, I really liked Kauai. We went to Kauai for my 30th birthday, and Australia was really cool too.
Favorite kind of music?
I like top 40 stuff that's on the radio, but I really like newer country, Sam Hunt, stuff like that, Brett Young.
There we go. That's a little country shout out there. Favorite movie or like TV series of all time?
My favorite movie growing up was Sandlot because it was my brothers and me watching it a million times. But I also like Blood In, Blood Out. It's like, I guess that started my love documentaries, prison movies. My mom was into it.
Yeah, Sandlot's one of my top for sure.
Bloodsport.
Oh, definitely. Bloodsport, fantastic.
Yeah, John Van Damme.
Oh yeah. And any inspirational mixed martial artists, just either growing up or even now, just respect their game, respect what they've done, style, whatever. Just a couple names.
I don't necessarily have an inspirational one, but all the fighters I've really liked. while watching MMA, since I've come to know it, are the karate style, true like background martial artists. Anybody pretty much who throws a sidekick. Sidekicks are my favorite. I love them.
Like the Machitas of the world kind of thing?
Yeah, Machida, Silva, and even Anthony Pettis, people with traditional karate backgrounds. I mean, they're not always the greatest fighters. I mean, some of them like Machida and Silva were.
Yeah.
But I really like them.
Just that style.
Yeah.
How does Saturday finish up for you?
I'm getting my hand raised. I really think I'm going to finish her. If I don't finish her, I'm going to win, without a doubt.
A 15-minute domination. That'll put you at 3 wins in a row, and can't wait to see what's next. But let's get through Saturday first. Excited for that. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Sure. Egg Weights and Sinfit Nutrition, they helped me throughout this camp. And my social nets are all at Tecia Torres. I'm most active on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really wanted to thank you for giving up the time for us. Big fan for a long time, but excited for your future here and what is gonna happen for you. It all starts Saturday, so wish you the best of luck. We thank you so much, Tecia Torres. This is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
No problem. Good luck. You take care.
Cool. You have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Bye bye.